listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Okay, it's time to get tapped in.
Hello, hello, hello. And if you hear my voice, you know it is time to get. Okay, I gotta get a tapper. Tapped in, and I am one of your hosts, Zakia L. Rogers.
And I'm Leonard Jones.
Leonard, and I come to you from Communications and Public Engagement Department of Buncombe County, where we wear capes. Leonard, who do we have with us today?
Today we have Oscar Wooten, the Identification Bureau Director of Buncombe County Government. And so he's here today to share us a little bit more about his department, introduce himself to the community as well, and we can find out what services are provided by the Identification Bureau here in Buncombe County. So welcome, Oscar.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Come on, do that to the mic. Tell us about yourself. Where you from? When did you get here? And what brought you to Buncombe County?
Well, I am originally from a little town in the eastern part of the state called Goldsboro.
Oh, okay.
Most people know it as the home of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Wandered there. My family has a Caribbean background, descendants of Haiti. And so I found my way here via my wife. So she's an Asheville native, the pride of Inca High School.
Okay.
But in my career decision making process, ran across this job. It was introduced to us from someone who thought that I made a good fit for it. Applied for it, prayed on it. I knew it was going to happen from the time it was introduced. I remember looking at my wife and saying to her, I think this is my next job. So Asheville has been good to us. I've been here since June of last year. Came at a perfect time to get prepared for Helene.
Yeah.
And so, Helene brought a lot of hurt, but I think it brought a lot of healing. So I think it helped people to form new relationships, create new boundaries, helped us to look at each other in a different way, in a different light, and realize that no matter who you think you are on this earth, you got to partner with somebody. And there's a phrase in Philippians, without vision, the people will perish.
Yeah.
And so I think we all have to make sure that we're looking for the right things and placing our thoughts in the right place. Because if you're not living for something, you're doing nothing.
Okay. So Oscar, welcome to Asheville. You said you've been here for a little bit over a year now. And so
you've been at Buncombe County Health and Human Services for over a year. How long have you been actually in Asheville? Like when did you move here?
July.
I think that's what the man just said. All right, so we are talking about the Identification Bureau. So what do your department do for the county, and what services it provide to the community?
The Identification Bureau is comprised of two separate sections. One is the centralized data entry. The other is the formal ID Bureau. Both divisions are extensions of the sheriff. We pride ourselves on performing good quality work at a high standard because we do represent the sheriff in so many ways, and he's an elected official, and we don't want anything that we do to look bad on him. So in centralized data entry, we do a lot of master name database records maintenance, making sure that when people are arrested and they are introduced or reintroduced into the criminal justice system, that we verify and validate that that person is who they say they are. We do the initial entry of the biographical information into our jail management system and our records management system for the law enforcement and any folks in our community that have access, that they're looking at accurate, valid data when they go in there. And once we get that entry work done, then the sheriff can finish the processing and you know, doing whatever their temporary or extended stay is going to be in the jail. But we also enter any process. For example, a person comes to the magistrate, they want to take out a warrant on someone for trespassing. Once the magistrate makes sure that that they fit the requirements to file that process, he signs off on it. Basically, whether it's a warrant, he hands it over to us. We enter that information into e-warrants or NCIC, wherever it needs to go for the law enforcement community to see it wherever they are. And so there's a lot of work there. There's a lot of dotting I's and crossing T's, because if we get it wrong, it's wrong for everybody else. And so, you know, I commonly refer to law enforcement officers being trusted officials, and those trusted officials have to trust us. So we're trusted even more. From an ID Bureau perspective, anytime anyone is seeking a concealed handgun permit or renewal, we walk that process from front to rear, making sure that the people are able to, people who are qualified to obtain, you know, concealed handgun permit, obtains it in a timely fashion, and that is a lot of work. There's a lot of records that have to be gathered in order to ensure that they meet all of the qualifications, from a criminal background check to making sure they don't have any disqualifications there. Then there's mental health records involved, and we actually have to make sure that we don't give anybody access to concealed handgun permit that's not rightfully deserving of that process. So there are other things that we do over there. We do background checks for a lot of different operations in Buncombe County. Healthcare professionals, they seem to frequent us for their backgrounds, as well as child care professionals. And so we do a lot of background checks. You know, with impending legislation, they have decided that as of October 1st, anybody that has a duty that requires them to interact with children, the state is making it mandatory that they have a background check that includes FBI fingerprint submission to APHIS. And so that's probably going to create additional workforce. So we're waiting for legal and of course our recruitment folks to make the determination on how they're going to handle that, and we'll address that accordingly.
All right, so you said that's October the 1st?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. So is that like everyone in the school system? Or you don't know yet?
Well,
that's been litigated.
Well, I'm guessing everyone who's able to have contact with children, so that would be the janitors, because they come in contact with the students, bus drivers, teachers.
And so you can look at it in different ways, right? Is their job a job that they're primarily involved with children? Is it people that are loosely involved with children? You know, Parks and Rec. You know, EMS, and so.
I mean, that would include us as community engagement people, because children come and we have things on our tables.
I had a conversation this morning. If you reflect back to Helene, we had county employees doing all kinds of work. When you're working at community care stations and interacting with people and their children, and you know, I can tell you that we had a great responsibility of making sure that when young people came to use our shower facilities and stuff like that, making sure that they weren't,
Wow.
exposed to anybody other than the parents, and maintaining privacy was a big thing.
Yeah.
Is this state or federal?
I want to say it's a state law.
State law. Okay.
And so, would that open up another position, or would it just come with more training and more equipment?
Work in progress.
Yeah. let's go with that. That's a good response.
Okay, so the plans are just coming out. Okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where we have to see what additional workload it's going to create, and then I have to make the justification to, of course, county management and county commissioners, and they'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. I haven't heard of that.
And if you're just tuning in, this is Tap In, and we are talking to Oscar Wooten, and he is with our Identification Bureau with Buncombe County. He's the director, and so we're just chatting it up about what his department does and the new things that are coming down the pipe. So as we were saying that this new fingerprint requirement is coming through. What is the normal fingerprint? Because I think some people are like, oh, I don't need to get my fingerprints, but if you're going to be a foster parent or like, and you said nursing and some other jobs, you do have to get a fingerprint. What does that look like? Where do they go? Where do they walk in? Because I remember, gosh, probably 15 years ago, you had to go to the jail. And so what's the process now?
Well, COVID changed everything.
Yes.
And so prior to COVID, they were located at 20 Davidson, which is right there at the jail, alongside the magistrates. CDE still operates out of that closed or confined space. But when COVID hit, of course, we had the emergency state where we had to make sure that people had distanced themselves from each other. And so in order to create that distance, the departments were separated. Some stayed at 20 Davidson. The Identification Bureau at that time started operating, I want to say they were operating out of 35 Woodfin. They may have been somewhere else. But I will tell you that they have been one of the most relocated departments in the last 10 years because they went to currently where we're at in the interchange building now. Then they went to 52 Cox.
Wow.
And in the last few months, we relocated back to the interchange building. And so if you're looking for any fingerprint services or any background check needs or concealed handgun permit issues, then you need to come to 59 Woodfin Place, the interchange building.
Yeah. And so how many people do you think you all see a day?
That's a good question. So I usually, different days can call different influxes of people. But I will tell you that on average, we see about 300 a week.
Wow.
And so, doing the rough math, that's about 60 to 70 people a day.
Yeah.
And so we tend to stay busy with all types of requests and issues there. And that's on an ID Bureau perspective. If we're talking centralized data entry, it all depends on what going on with the people and the criminal justice sector, for example.
So when you all, So when you all enter the information, like, do you, like, say you're entering someone who has just been brought into jail, are you all putting down like scars and so you all are doing the entire workup of what they look like, who they look like, and all things, like they have mole and distinguishing marks and stuff. So that's a lot of data that if you've ever read one of those reports, because they're very detailed.
Oh, wow.
Scars, everything. So it's a lot of information they have to put in.
And we usually start that process when law enforcement reaches out to us and say, I have this person, I'm going to be placing them under arrest, so do you have any records on this person, on this thing? And then once we verify certain information and we pass them on to the detention folks, they verify those scars, marks, tattoos that we have reported in our system. And sometimes they've required more scars, tattoos, and marks. And so there's an updating and revalidation of the process in each step.
Wow. So I got a question around, you mentioned that concealed handgun permits are given through that. What's that process?
Well, we try to make it as automated as possible. But right now, under the current guidelines, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard the humbug around Senate Bill 50, the Freedom to Carry Act. If passed, that's going to change a lot to how the process is right now. It's gonna, I guess I should say, gonna provide a lot of liberty as it relates to being able to obtain a firearm. But I will also say that it is going to take away a lot of the sureties to make sure that people are responsible, reducing the age from 21 to 18, not requiring any formal training on usage or laws associated with possession of firearms. And so that's going to change a lot if that's passed. I think the next hearing or the next time it's supposed to go before the legislature is September 22nd. So the previous two times it was on call, they decided not to hear it. And so what the process looks like now is a person can go on the sheriff's website or Buncombe County's website. If they go to the concealed handgun permit or the renewal tab on either one of those websites, whether it's the ID Bureau on the Buncombe County page or the sheriff's independent website, that will take them into an automated platform where they can fill out all of their information and submit that concealed handgun permit in an automated fashion. There are some people, and we don't tell anybody how to go about it, but there are people that print out the forms, fill them out, and bring them in. But once that form is submitted manually or in an automated fashion, we're able to pick it up and run with it from there. We're doing the background check, sending off whatever records need to be ordered for mental health reasons. And then as we get the records back in, there is an evaluation process. If they have something that may be disqualifying on their criminal history, then we have an easy task because they're disqualifying offenses, and we don't have any issue with that. But if there's something from a mental health aspect, that's when we have to get the sheriff involved, and the sheriff has a review and decide if he thinks that this person is in a capacity that they can possess a concealed handgun in his county. And so the sheriff has a lot of power. You know, he doesn't like being put in those positions where he has to make the decision, but he is that person that holds the responsibility to make sure that people are in right mind and body to possess weapons in his county.
Yeah, and I know I have a concealed carry, and I had to go through a class and learn all these laws and take a test and then turn everything in and sign all these documents.
You still have to do that?
Yep.
So they're talking about taking away that safety training, but I think it's so important because it gives you the laws and how it works to own a gun in this community, well, in North Carolina in general. And so that'll be kind of sad.
So, you know, speaking from a non-political aspect, I will say this, right? One of the things that's in place right now is there's a responsible person, which is usually a certified firearms instructor, that has been trained to train people and educate people on the laws and how to safely handle the firearm that they're choosing. In most cases, you have to take that weapon that you're going to be possessing to the training with you. And in some, I've seen it, I've done it before, but in some classes, we will expose people to other firearms so that they just have a general familiarity with different types of weapons, whether it's a revolver, whether it's a semi-automatic weapon, whether it's a long gun. And so it gives people an awareness that they otherwise wouldn't get. And so when you take away some of those steps in that formal training, and we have to verify that they have a legitimate training certificate as part of the process. But when you take away those things, right, can you imagine a person walking up to you and saying, hey, stick them up, and they point the gun at you the wrong way, the barrel is because they don't know how to use a weapon?
Yeah.
So you have people that are going to be put in positions that the onus of knowing how to properly maintain and use a weapon is going to be on them because, and then at 18.
Yeah.
Right?
And because currently right now it's 21.
Right.
Okay.
And so, again, when we talk about responsibility and being responsible, 3 years is not a lot of years.
Yeah.
But 3 years gives me a little more confidence that this person is matured a little bit, that they may think a little more before they act.
Yeah.
And so that's
just things you have to think about, like as this matriculate through our government. A question I do have: is there any fees or things associated with getting this concealed carry permit?
absolutely.
And what are those fees? And how often do you have to renew your permit, or how that process goes?
So the renewal process is every 5 years.
Okay.
And so the renewal fee is $75. The new is $95.
Okay.
The new fee includes the fingerprinting and so forth.
Okay.
Those fees are, believe it or not dictated by the ID Bureau. They're not dictated by the sheriffs. They are actually dictated by the North Carolina Sheriff's Association.
Oh, okay.
And so they go to legislators and say, hey, these are the fees that we think need to be associated with this. You may remember years ago, there was a purchase permit where you
Yeah, I remember that.
had to pay $5 to get a permit just to go buy a handgun. And so they went away from that. And so that's the standard fees. There are some, for example, if you are law enforcement, so you don't have to pay that full fee. Law enforcement, depending on their status, pays a lower fee than the 75 or the 95.
And then I just got another question. You said it's a 5-year period for the renewal process. Let's say unfortunately something happens that disqualify you during that 5 minute. Do that disqualification happens at the moment that infraction happened, or is when you go back for renewal?
And is there a hearing?
So a lot of people don't know this, but if you possess a concealed handgun permit and you get charged with the disqualifying offense, we're gonna know.
Yeah.
And so when we get that, we have to report that this person is in a temporary suspended or revocated status because they have a disqualifying offense. But if you are determined to have had a disqualifying offense while you're going through the new process, then we'll basically let you know that, hey, you have a disqualifying offense. And what a lot of people don't know is you could be disqualified now, depending on the charge. After 10 years, or after whatever time frame is attached to it, you may become qualified at a later time. So you may have to wait. If you have charges, you may be suspended until those charges have some type of decision or conclusion on them. And if you're found, if they're dismissed or whatever, then you're basically taken out of that status. But
So, and will that still include, like, if you have a felony, you are not able to get a concealed carry?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any felony, you're probably not going to be getting a concealed handgun permit. But there's some misdemeanors that, as long as there's a time frame, you can still possibly qualify.
This is very interesting. I mean, like, you hear about concealed, handgun permits, but if you're not, unless you're just like a gun owner or just follow that process, there's a lot of mystery around it, just the process and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
very interesting topic.
And I think what's so interesting about this this department is, as Identification Bureau, and so, first thing people are probably thinking is, oh, can I get my ID?
Sure.
And I'm so glad that we're here, giving the facts out that this is not what this is, but it does help establish who you are.
Yeah.
And so that's great. Randy just came and gave us the 5.
Oh,
And so
okay.
we have 5 minutes left. But I wanted to ask you, we know that we are swiftly approaching the Tropical Storm Helene Remembrance
Mhm.
year anniversary. And I just want to ask if there's one thing that you want to share with this community as we approach this time of remembrance for our community.
Well, the first thing is the citizens of Western North Carolina are very, very resilient people. And of course, for everyone who suffered losses, I hope that over this past year that they've been able to find themselves or get to a place of acceptance. But I realize that you don't realize what you have until you've had to deal with loss, right? And nothing is ever, as long as you have life, as long as you have breath, you have a chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Helene, I think, helped a lot of people to recognize the small things, right? And they realize what's an emergency, right?
Yeah.
And so, we don't need to panic about everything that goes on in our life, but when it's time to go, and I say this for the employees in Buncombe County, when it was time to go, those jokers went. and so, for my department, we were all over the place. We were involved in all different types of operations. One of my supervisors had to drive a box truck for a day. And so nothing was below us, nothing was above us. And I think everybody was involved in the fight to a certain degree. And I want to make sure that they understand that they did a great job. The job is still ongoing, but they deserve every pat on the back that they get, every hug that's offered to them, accepted. And love is all around. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Leonard.
Yeah, just in those same sentiments, I send out my gratitude as well to our fellow employees that work with the county, and also just out to the community as a whole. I think one thing that we learned in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Helene is that we can be a community and we can help each other. We understood the importance of knowing who your neighbors are and knowing who have resources and who can we help. And so as we move and commemorate this 1 year, just to continue that as we move forward. And we also just to highlight just some information as it's been enjoyable to learn about the ID Bureau at Buncombe County. You always can go to buncombecounty.nc.gov to get more information about the various departments, but also check out Buncombe County's social media, and that can be on X or on Facebook or Instagram to find out what are some of the upcoming commemoratives that's happening in all the communities around Buncombe County. Each community is doing it in their own unique way, and so just keep an eye out and go out and just take this moments of remembrance of how far we done came, and also just showing honor to and giving space for the things that we lost. And so that's all I have.
All right, and this is Zakia signing off. I hope that everyone enjoyed the information that you were able to get today. And it's so important so that we know what each of our departments do. And it's a lot of times we hear a name and we just don't know what they do. And so that is one of the things that Leonard and I do with Tapped In, as we get our community more involved in knowing who works where and what they do. Why is that important? Because when we were all out in Helene, coming up on a year ago, it didn't matter who you were, where you were from, we were all in this together. And I want to remind everybody that we're still all in this together, because together we're stronger, together we get more done, and together we're a community. And so I want to let everybody know that I'm so glad that you were still with us, and I hope you always continue to check us out on Tapped In, and also get in contact with us when you need information. Remember, we are one Buncombe, and we are stronger together, and you have been tapped in.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Nashville. Stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.